Hello and welcome to Tiny Autobahn. It's been right here in Bremen. Heute ist Sonntag und the traffic situation is getting full at the moment. Hello, wherever you are. Schön, dass ihr da seid. It's your one and only Tico Matata on ones and two. Wow. So this is the famous German Autobahn. This is A1. A1 Richtung Hamburg. And so the car that is backing you at the moment, most of them are heading to Hamburg. And somebody's asking, who am I? It's like a film I watch about Jackie Chan. And Jackie Chan, they were asking him, who are you? And so my name is Tico Matata on a ones and two. And I'm trying to show you the German Autobahn on Sunday afternoon. It's getting full. And so I'm right here in Germany, to be precise, in Bremen. And in Bremen sagt man Moin. And so I say Moin to you. And so if you're going to drive in Germany, this is one of the Autobahn. This one is a little bit smaller. Some of the Autobahns can have even up to 5 to 6 lanes. And so this one is, we have 3 lanes at the moment. So you speak German as well. Okay. Schön, dass du da bist. Wie geht es dir, Bruder? Dann versuch's mal in Germany zu schreiben. So, ich habe gefragt, wie geht es dir? And where are you writing from? Moin. Okay, so like I said, schön, dass ihr da seid. This is German Autobahn A1, or we call it A1. The German Autobahn, we have like different kinds of Autobahn, depending on where you are. We have A1, A2, A3, and so on and so forth. And this road, this very Autobahn, can connect to so many cities. From this Autobahn, you can go to Hamburg. Hello, hello. And this kind of Autobahn, I'm on top of the bridge right now, and you can see there are pedestrians on this Autobahn. And that's why I'm allowed to hang around here with you. And isn't that cool? On top of the Autobahn. And so if you're going to drive right here in Germany, I can tell you some of the rules of the Autobahn. The Autobahn is getting busier and busier. And so my friend said he speaks Germany. I'm still waiting for you to write in Germany, bro. So I'm going to show you some of the Autobahn sign. So I don't know if you can see this sign. I hope you can see it. So this is Autobahn sign. That's the Autobahn sign. The moment you pass this Autobahn sign, the Autobahn's rules and regulations starts. Moin. One of the criteria in Autobahn is that if your vehicle cannot drive more than 60 kilometers per hour, you're not allowed to drive on the German Autobahn. Today is Sunday. That means the trucks, most trucks are not allowed to drive in Germany on the Autobahn. And so that's why you see lesser trucks today. Morning. Because on Sunday, only the trucks that are on this essential duties are allowed to drive here. And so that's why the road is a little bit free. And so any truck you see driving right now on the Autobahn got permission from the government to drive. It must be a truck that is carrying perishable goods. Trucks that must be driven today because of the stuff on the truck. And so outside that, other things can flow. And so we can see one or two trucks flowing. If it is on Monday to Saturday, the first lane will be full of trucks. And so if you're a truck driver and you want to drive right here in Germany, you always have to stay on the right lane. Moin. You always have to stay on the right lane. The right lane is for truck drivers. And the left lane is for overtaking. I say, so this is the right lane, the first one. It's always for the truck driver or vehicles that cannot drive more than, let's say, that cannot go fast enough. So the right lane is for slower vehicles. And the left one, the extreme left one, that's for speed cars. So if you're going to overtake, that's where you overtake. The left one is always meant to be free. Only when you are about to overtake or when you're going to overtake, that's when you can use the left one. But you can see so many people are using it. But I'm telling you the standard. And so for those who want to get a driver's license, like I said, the moment you pass the entry sign, that's the entry sign, the Autobahn entry sign in Germany. The moment you pass this sign, the Autobahn traffic regulations starts. Okay? And so the question now is, what are those traffic regulations? Like I said, in terms of overtaking, here in Germany, we drive on the right side. In case you want to see me, that's signage right here on the Autobahn. Okay? I hope you saw me because I didn't see anything. Okay, so like I said, if you're going to drive right here in Germany, it's good for you to know some of the road signs before you get there. So if you keep watching my channel, you can get one or two tips on how to drive in Germany. So like I said, in terms of overtaking, here in Germany, we drive on the right side. And when we want to overtake, we overtake from the left. So Germans drive their car on the right. Unlike in England or London, where they drive from the left. And when they want to overtake, that means they are going to overtake from the right. And so it's the opposite right here. So Germans overtake from the left. So the left lane is meant for overtaking. And remember, the moment you're passing the entry sign, you're not going to come back again. It's what we call the on-ramp. So the moment you're passing the Autobahn on-ramp, you're not allowed to reverse your car. It's like a one-way traffic. And there's a difference between the on-ramp and the acceleration lane. The acceleration lane is the lane you're going to use to enter the Autobahn. That's the last point of contact. Okay, from the acceleration lane, that's where you're expected to give gas. Okay, and then, hello, they're hollering me. That's where you're expected to give gas to enter the Autobahn. And one of the most important information for you to know is that, cheese, hello, once you're entering the Autobahn, you don't have right of way. Moin. Hello. Okay. Okay, so you can see right here on the Autobahn, you can also see bicycle drivers right on top of the Autobahn. That's cool. Okay. Some of them are thinking that I'm blitzer. Somebody said blitzer, as though that is a speed camera. Some of them think that I'm speed camera, and they are warning drivers to slow down. All right. But I'm not blitz camera, like you can see. All right. So let's go back to the Autobahn. So with the magic, we are back to the Autobahn on ones and two. So like I said, once you're entering the Autobahn, I hope someone can hear me. I hope it's not so loud here. The moment you're entering the Autobahn, you don't have right of way. So you're not expecting anyone to make way for you. No. Hello. Okay. Oh, cool, my old timer, old school. So the moment you are entering the Autobahn, you don't have right of way. Traffic on the Autobahn always have right of way, okay? So once you are entering the Autobahn, let me again. I hope you can see me. So like I said, the moment you are entering the Autobahn, you don't have right of way. So this is the Autobahn entry sign, okay? The moment you pass this sign, then you're entering the Autobahn. The Autobahn rules and regulation begins the moment you pass this sign. And I'm trying to tell you what are the Autobahn traffic signs. You don't have right of way once you are entering the Autobahn. That means traffic on the Autobahn, they have right of way. So it's your responsibility to enter the Autobahn safely and properly, okay? So I don't know if you're seeing me, it's a little bit komish because I can't see myself. I hope you saw me. It's one of those things on live channel. So like I said, the moment you're entering the Autobahn, you always have to give way. Okay, so you're expected to use the acceleration lane to find your way on the Autobahn. And remember, when you're entering, you always have to indicate. You have to indicate as early as possible, and you have to indicate to the left side because we enter the Autobahn from the left. And when we are leaving the Autobahn, we leave the Autobahn from the right. So you can see this is a sign indicating leaving the Autobahn. So you can see these are the sign. I hope you can see it. You know, so that's to say there's exit on the right lane there. So when you are leaving the Autobahn, it's also the same thing. The moment you pass the 380 meter, there you can start indicating, and there you indicate right. So when you are leaving the Autobahn, you indicate right. And when you are entering the Autobahn, you indicate left. Okay? And remember, once you are in the Autobahn, you always have to give distance. It's always important to give distance to maintain a good distance once you are in Autobahn. Even when you are not on the Autobahn, you always have to maintain a level of distance. So, and of course, the general rules of driving, which include that you're not allowed to use your handsets to avoid distraction. So these are some of the rules you always have to use. So when entering the Autobahn, you are going to use the on-ramp. The on-ramp is the curved lane. That's the curved lane you're going to meet at the first stance. And the moment you enter the curved lane, there you don't speed because it's a curved lane. So we never speed when the lane is curved. And the moment you are curving, you have to slow down. And after you finish on the curved lane, and then you will enter the acceleration lane. That's where you are going to give gas. That's where you are expected to give everything. You have to use your shoulder, as well you have to check the left side. Even though you use your mirror, the mirror is always not enough, especially for those who want to do a driver test. The day you want to do your driver's exam, the examiner will always want to see that you're making use of your shoulder. Okay, so please do not rely on the mirror alone. These are my tips for you. Okay, so you can see the LKVs most of them are carrying refrigerator stuff inside. Some of them are layer, but any LKV on the Autobahn, they obtain permission from the government to drive because today is Sunday, and on Sunday, LKV or trucks are not allowed to drive on the Autobahn. Hello? And so that's why you're seeing lesser LKV on the trucks. Hello? So many people are passing here, just like cars are passing here. And so I hope I'm not shouting because I can't assess the volume. So that's the lesson for today. Remember, when entering the Autobahn, you don't have right of way. And so if you are new to the German Autobahn and you see the cars, everybody's driving, I said at the beginning, the right lane is for slower cars, for truck drivers. And so if you're going to be driving on the Autobahn and you want to take it slow and steady, then you stay on the right. Then you will have lesser Kopfschmerzen, they will say it so in Germany. And the middle lane is okay. You can always stay on the middle lane. If you want to speed, you can speed on the middle lane. And overtaking is only done on the left. Please do not overtake from the right. But there are times we can also overtake from the right on the Autobahn. And when are those times? The time you can overtake from the right are when there is hold up on the Autobahn, when there is stau, when there is traffic jam. And officially, they always say you can overtake when the car you are overtaking is driving less than 20. And then you can overtake that car from the right. Okay? So when there is traffic holdup or when the left lane is not moving, you are allowed to overtake from the right. But on a normal day, like the car is speeding at right now, you're not allowed to overtake from the right. Overtaking is only done on the left. And remember, once you overtake, you come back as early as possible. And before you come back to the middle or the right, you have to check your shoulder, check the mirror, the interior, the outside or exterior, and of course you use your shoulder to do all that. Everything has to be done in a perfect way. Because they say those who drive cars, they say it's to whom much is given, much is expected of them. If you have a driver's license, that means much is expected of you. You have to do so many tasks in 1 second or in a few seconds. So I hope I'm saying something useful now, or I'm just making noise on top of the Autobahn. All right. So, and I hope it's worth enjoying. This is, in case you're joining me right now, welcome to Tico Matata Show, Tiny Autobahn. Hello, Suzanne. And this is Autobahn A1. I'm on top of the bridge where traffic and Fußgängers or pedestrians and cyclists and even cars allowed to drive on top of this bridge. And that's the beauty of German Autobahn. The Germans, they are very good with the Autobahn or the highway or the motorway. They plan everything so well. So it's up to the driver to drive so well. And one thing about German Autobahn is that drivers here in Germany, they say that they are disciplined. And what does that mean, that a driver in Germany is disciplined? We are almost like perfect here in Germany. We do everything possible to keep the road safe. If you're entering an Autobahn and someone who is in the Autobahn realize that you are entering the Autobahn, they always try to make way for you. We are very accommodating. That's part of the discipline in Germany. We always help each other. We're like a team. We're like a football team or any game that has to do with teamwork. That's how we drive right here in Germany. Of course, there are sometimes people go wild, but most German drivers are disciplined. And so that's one of the qualities that you have to bring along if you want to drive right here in Germany. You have to be disciplined. You have to be patient. Sie müssen geduldig sein. That is one of the characteristics of a German driver. Wir sind immer geduldig. And please do not overspeed. In Germany here, there are so many speed cameras. Even though people say German Autobahn is no limit. So let me show you once again my face, Tico Matata. Schön, dass ihr da seid. I don't know if you can see me. I hope so. And so, like I'm saying, you have to be disciplined if you want to drive right here in Germany. You have to be patient. And yeah, remember, they always say Germany, they have no limits. The Autobahn is no limit. But it's not true. Like here, where I am, you are only allowed to drive 120. Okay, this Autobahn. There's always Autobahn sign. There's also speed sign that indicates how many you're allowed to drive. At this place at the moment, there is speed limit. But if you go further, there's where you will see no speed limit. There you can go crazy. But remember, in Germany, there is always speed limits. Okay? There's always speed limits. And that means you always have to watch out for the blitz or blitzer or speed cameras. Because if you want to be economical, if you want to save money right here in Germany, then you always have to avoid the blitz. Okay, so in case you're joining me, we're talking today about the German Autobahn. And this is a sign that indicates that you are entering the German Autobahn. Okay, and the moment you pass this sign, that means the Autobahn rules and regulation begins. Okay, the moment you pass this sign, hey, sign, relax, man. Okay, that means Autobahn's rules and regulation begin. And what are those rules and regulation in the Autobahn? First, when entering the Autobahn, you don't have right of way. I hope you can see me. So when you're entering the German Autobahn, you don't have right of way. That means the traffic on the Autobahn, they have right of way over you. Okay? So you always have to, for you to enter the Autobahn, it's your responsibility to enter the Autobahn safely and properly. And how do you enter the German Autobahn? There's what we call the on-ramp, and there's also what we call the acceleration lane. These are the two lanes you need to enter the Autobahn. The on-ramp, they are always curved. That's the first one you're going to enter. It's curved. They made it curved so you don't enter the Autobahn with like surprise. So, it's not like when you're driving on the Landstrasse where you entering straight. So this one, they make it that you enter through a curve, and then after you enter the acceleration lane, the on-ramp or the entry ramp, and then come the acceleration lane. And there before you enter, before you enter the acceleration lane, you're going to use your shoulder. It has to be quick, okay? And then you use your shoulder, you check your mirror, the left mirror. Also, you have to concentrate on the left mirror because we enter the Autobahn from the left, okay? And you also use your interior mirror. You have to use everything available, okay? So imagine if you're doing a driver test, and the day you're doing the driver test, in German we call it Prüfung. Your examiner wants to see how active you are. He wants to see if you're using the shoulder. So you have to use the mirror, use the interior mirror, you use this one, and you have to use your shoulder. So you have to do something like this. So that's how you enter the Autobahn. So most times, and if you're using the on-ramp, I don't want to show people's face, So I don't, I like people's privacy. So I put it like this. I like to save people's privacy, Okay, so like I was saying, if you're entering the Autobahn, you always remember to use your shoulder. Okay? And so once you use your shoulder, the examiner will see, okay, he knows what he's doing. But the shoulder has to be very quick. And then you use the gear 3. Most times you use the gear 3 to let the car, tell the car that you want to speed. So you start, and then you go to 4 and 5 and 6, depending. And then you have to look for a safe gap, okay? Do not force your way into the Autobahn. If you don't have space, you have to slow down. In a worst case, you can use the shoulder brake. But so many people always argue about this shoulder brake. If you don't have space to enter the Autobahn, you can use the shoulder brake. But you have to use it very quick. In some German city, you are not allowed to use it. In some city, you are allowed to use it. So depending on the city you are, you have to inform yourself if you are allowed to use the shoulder brake. This one, the one before the first lane, it's meant for emergency. It's only used for emergency. And so, but if you are entering the Autobahn and you are having emergency, of course, you can use it briefly. Oh, yes. You can inform yourself and find out that I'm right. Okay. And so this is what I'm trying to tell you, entering the Autobahn. The German Autobahn is a nice place to drive on. If you've not driven on the Autobahn, then you're missing out, man. Okay. So I hope I'm saying something useful today. Being Sunday, the sun is shining. Choose. Okay. And remember to subscribe to my channel if I'm saying something useful to you. Also for my German speaking audience, ich begrüße euch ganz herzlich. Ich bin right here at the German Autobahn A1 Richtung Hamburg. Und ich bin jetzt on top of the Brücke trying to make some noise. Okay. Hallo. Ja, ganz genau. Okay, so before I sign out, I'd like to say thank you nochmal. Oh, guck mal, nice car. I'd like to say thank you nochmal for those who listen. And so I hope you have an idea, a little bit idea of how to enter the Autobahn. It's always better to watch it practical, than just saying it like this. But saying something, you can learn one or two things from just hearing what I'm saying. But normalerweise, on a very good day, it's always good to do it practical. And then you get a better idea of how to enter the German Autobahn. All right. The Autobahn is getting fuller again. Evening is always rush hour. Many people are coming back from their family visits. Some people are getting ready for work tomorrow. And so it's going to be a little bit busier in the next 1 hour right now, right here in Autobahn. Okay. So before I sign up, like I said, I want to say thank you so much for being there. And remember, my channel, Tiny Autobahn. I'm going to be making a nice tutorial on some of the road signs. I will be explaining some of the German road signs and, of course, their meaning, so that if you want to drive right here in Germany, you'll have a better idea of what's going on before you hit the road. So I always say, if you're going to drive right here in Germany, it's good for you to know some of the rules and regulations, especially for those who want to get a driver's license, for those who want to work, live here. It's always good if you're moving to Germany to go and get a driver's license. It gives you edge. It gives you more edge. You can be more mobile when you have a driver's license. Of course, there is a good transportation system, but when you have your driver's license, you can do more than just taking transportation. You can also work with your driver's license. But the problem we're having right now is getting a driver's license in Germany. It's getting tougher. It's getting more expensive. For you to get a driver's license right here in Germany, you have to calculate like 4,000 euro. Believe me. That's to tell you how expensive. And so that's why it's always good if somebody is telling you about driving for free, always take the opportunity to learn one or two things. Because the more faster you are in learning the rules and regulation, the lesser expensive it's going to be for you, okay? Because in getting a driver's license, you have to do what we call the theory part of driving, learning, the theory part of learning, where you have to memorize some of the question and answer for months. They will be asking you, they can maybe show you a sign like the one I'm showing you right now, and then they'll ask you, what's this sign? What's the name of the sign? And then you have to say, like this sign, you know? And then they will ask you, what's the name of the sign? And then you have to say, it's an Autobahn or highway entry sign. And then they can ask you to explain it. And so you can say, yeah, the Autobahn entry sign indicates that the moment you pass or you see the sign, it means that the Autobahn rules and regulations begin or starts. And then they may ask you, okay, what are those rules and regulations? These are things you learn in a theory part of getting a driver's school or driver's lesson. And then you say, okay, the stuff, the rules and regulation of the Autobahn, you say one of the first rules is that it's not every car that is allowed to drive on the Autobahn. You say, why? Yeah, if your car cannot drive more than 60 kilometers per hour on the German Autobahn, then you're not allowed to drive on the Autobahn. And that's one of the rules. And the other one is that if you're entering the Autobahn through the acceleration lane, you don't have right of way. Okay? That's something cool. If you're entering the Autobahn through the acceleration lane, you don't have right of way. As with the size traffic on the Autobahn, they have right of way over you. And what are the rules? You have to give way. Okay? And what are the rules? You're not allowed to overtake from the right. Although you always have to overtake from the left. And once you are overtaking, always make sure that the speed you're using to overtake is more than the speed of the car you're overtaking. It's clear, it's obvious. If you want to overtake a car, you always have to apply extra speed. But you also have to be mindful of the speed limits in the Autobahn. Some Autobahn has speed limits. So you cannot say because you want to overtake a car and so you want to drive more than the speed limits. It's not a reason for you to overspeed. Hello? And so these are Autobahn's rules. These are stuff you're going to learn in your um, driving school. Because in Germany, before you get a driver's license, you always have to um, go to driving school. At the moment, also you can do online theory learning, but the practical aspect you always have to do it naturally of at a driver's school. And so in Germany, they always say you have to go to driving school where you have to do some driving lesson, specific number of lessons. Hello, moin. Hello. What is Sunday afternoon, or it's getting even evening, and I'm right here on top of the German Autobahn, and the people are so happy to see me right here, and it's so friendly that the sun is shining, and I'm making some noise, shouting on top of my voices right here, trying to tell you some of the Autobahn rules and regulation, and I hope someone can hear me, so I don't become like a singing bird that no one listens to. Okay. All right, let's go back to the German Autobahn once again before we hit the road. Okay. I'm feeling good right now. Schön, dass ihr da seid. You're very welcome to the German Autobahn. And I'm right here at the A1. The Autobahn you're seeing right now is called the Autobahn 1. And the Autobahn is heading to Hamburg, one of the biggest city in Germany. Hamburg belongs to one of the biggest cities in Germany. Hamburg, Berlin, Frankfurt, München. Hello. And, and that's one of the, so this Autobahn is one of the most important Autobahn routes in Germany. From this Autobahn, you can pass through Dortmund. This, if for those who knows about German football and know Borussia Dortmund, this Autobahn can lead you to Dortmund City. That's to tell you the beauty of this Autobahn. Hello. Okay, and on top of the Autobahn, you can even go jogging. Isn't that nice cool? Look, my right here on the German Autobahn, people can even go jogging on the Autobahn. Okay, that's the beauty of the Autobahn. Okay, whoa. So soon I'm going to be signing off. I'm going to call it a day for today. And I want to say thank you for being there for me. And I hope you enjoyed the Autobahn drive. Hello. So like I said, I'm right here at the A1 Autobahn in Germany, in Bremen, in northern Germany, in Niedersachsen. And so, and this is the Autobahn that leads to Hamburg. And like you can see, the sun is shining and the Autobahn is a little bit full. It's okay because today is Sunday. The truck drivers are not allowed to drive except those on essential duties. And that's why the Autobahn is a little bit relaxing at the moment. But on a very good day, this Autobahn is always full. And today I explained a little bit about the German Autobahn, what you have to do and stuff you have to know, especially for those who want to drive on the Autobahn. And I was the whole time making some noise, and I hope someone got something useful. But now I have to call it a day. And I'm going to also be live on air next time, and I'll be telling you another topic about Germany. About Germany getting a driver's license, it has to be on getting a driver's license in Germany. And so, have a great evening and enjoy the weather. Bye.